Today I would like to review a bit of the homework in chapter 27 of your Mounts textbook, the imperfective adverbial participle. So, given that we went over the first four parsings in the lecture video, we're let's try this one more time. With phonase, we have this ending here, and this ending is either the genitive singular or the accusative plural of the first declension. If you recall, the lexical form of phonase is phone. And if this were the accusative plural, you would have had an eta to alpha shift, as you always do in the plural. So what we have here is a genitive feminine singular noun, and it would be of sound, of noise, of voice. Okay, that brings us then to poiuntus. We have a imperfective active participle, accusative masculine plural from poieo, and it means after doing, after making. Okay, our next one is katabainanta. So again, we have to look at our form and try to figure out where the stem ends and the connecting vowel begins. And so we've got katabain, and then we have, that's the end of our stem. We have our connecting vowel here. We have our new ta here, and then we have our ending. Okay, so with katabain, we know that our verb is katabaino. Okay, katabaino. And then from there, we have the new ta, which tells us it's a participle. It's the participle morpheme, which again, because of the new ta, we do not have usa, this has got to be masculine or neuter. And then we look here at the ending. So a moment ago, we talked about the third declension endings in the masculine, or sa, sia, es, on, senas, and in the neuter, you've got the alpha, neuter plural, nominative and accusative. Now here is where we've got to pay close attention to what we're dealing with, because remember, sa, si, So what you have here are multiple options. You have a present imperfective participle that is also active. You know that because of the new ta. But then you have two options. This could be accusative, masculine singular, or it could be nominative accusative, neuter plural. Now, all of them would mean the same thing. While going down, going down. Either of those would work perfectly well. Okay. Now that gets us to number 8. Now in number 8 we have martyre, and we recognize that this is from martyr. Now, when we recognize that this is from martyreo, a couple of things become clear. First of all, we have an augment, and second of all, we have a tense formative, and the epsilon has lengthened to an eta. So we've got an augment and a sigma alpha tense formative, which tells us this has to be aorist. And the tense formative and the ending tell us it has to be active. The fact that we have the augment tells us it has to be indicative. And then this new ending tells us it's third plural. So they testified. They bore witness. All right, now with usas, this is from ami. Now the ami participle, is simply going to be the connecting vowel followed by the participle morpheme followed by the ending. So for instance, the nominative masculine singular form of ami as a participle, a present imperfective participle, is own. And then it would be antas and the like. So here, what we have is usas is going to be a participle, and it's going to be imperfective, and it's going to be, you can call it active even though it doesn't technically have a voice. So the question from there is, what is its case, gender, and number? So you've got the alpha and you've got the sigma. So if we think about what we're dealing with here, first of all, it's first declension. It's a first declension feminine. And so then we have to look at this ending, the sigma, and determine what we have in the parsing. Now, the other thing you've got to look at is, what do we have here as your the vowel that's a part of your first declension stem. And the vowel here is an alpha. And if this were a genitive singular, that would need to be an eta. So what we have here is accusative, feminine, and plural. So it would be while being, but the one who's doing the acting of that while being would be a feminine plural group. I apologize for it sliding forward there. And here with this upsilon sigma, we've got the mina morpheme and the prosuk, which is from prosukamai. So this is a imperfective deponent participle. And with the us, we know it's accusative masculine plural. And the translation of that would be while praying. Okay. Now, from there we have anabainantis. This is from anabino again. We have anabain as our verb stem. We have the connecting vowel, the new ta participle morpheme. And then from here, the epsilon sigma, which is the nominative masculine plural case ending. So it would be while going up. So it's a present, imperfective, active participle, nominative masculine plural from anabino. And it would be while going up to Jerusalem. Okay. Now with letter beta, we have adon, which is an aorist, active, indicative, first singular or third plural. So it would be they saw them or I saw them. And then we have altus, which is with the upsilon sigma, is accusative masculine plural. And it's a direct object of the verb adon, I or they saw them. And then you have hupagantus, which is a participle. You've got the new ta there. And you've got hupag, which is from hupago. And then you have the connecting vowel and the alpha sigma, which tells us this is accusative masculine plural. And so we've got an accusative masculine plural participle that's going to go with this accusative masculine singular or plural, noun, pronoun. So what we have here is I saw them while departing. Now, the problem that arises is when you use while departing without a clear statement of who's doing the action, the participle, it could imply that the I from Adon or the they from Adon, honestly, would be the one who's doing the action. And the answer to that is, well, no, because the one doing the action is the one that this participle agrees with in case, gender, and number, which is how-tos. So you're going to have to, in a situation like this, where you use the accusative adverbial participle or even the genitive or dative, you're going to have to put this into a dependent clause. So I saw them while they are departing, or they saw them while they were departing, or something like that. All right, so that takes us to the third. There's only one lambda here. If this was a present stem, there will be a double lambda. And we've got the augment. So it tells us we have an aorist along with the alpha, an aorist, active, indicative, third person plural from apostello, they sent. So we have they sent to him. And then we have while calling. So this is from kaleo. And in this instance, this is a present imperfective participle. It's also active. We know this because of the new ta. The epsilon sigma tells us it is a nominative masculine plural while calling him. And so the nominative masculine plural here of kaluntus is also the one who sent them. So, or the ones who sent them, him, sent to him. So they sent to him while calling him. Okay? That brings us to delta. And with delta, we have, again, eilthon, which initially could be first singular or third plural. It is an aorist, because we got the pros and maybe with the elth. It's from pros erkamai. It's an aorist, active, indicative, first singular, third plural. Now, we know in this instance that it has to be third plural because we have hoi archieres, which is a nominative masculine plural noun. So the chief priest sent to him, and then we have didaskanti, while teaching. So didaskanti is from didasco, and there is the stem, and it has that sigma kappa, which tells us it has to be based off the present stem. We have the connecting vowel, the omicron here, the new ta that tells us it's a participle, and the dative singular that tells us it's modifying the alto. Okay, so the chief priest sent to him while he is teaching. All right, so this didaskanti is going to be imperfective, active, participle. And then from there, this imperfective active participle is going to be dative, masculine, singular, because the one that's doing the teaching is a person, not a thing. And so there's going to be a masculine use of the dative here. Okay? All right, epsilon. Kai kathe minoi eterun auton. So eterun is our indicative verb. It's from tereo. You've got the augment, and you've got this vowel contraction here that comes from tereo. All right, so they were keeping him. And so then we have katheminoi from kathemai. We've got the min, which tells us it's participle, and the oi tells us its meaning. So while sitting, they were guarding him. And it's a present imperfective participle nominative plural masculine. Okay? All right. Me or rontis. This is from horao. And pistuantes is from pistuo. Both of them have new tas, which tell us they're participles. Both of them have epsilon sigma that tell us the case of the participle and also the gender and number in this instance. And so here we have present imperfective participles that are nominative masculine plural. And with erao, it's while seeing. And with pistuantes, it's while believing. And so not seeing but believing. Or while not seeing but while believing. Or believing even though, in a sense. All right? All right, so that gets us seeing, or while seeing, they are not seeing. And while hearing, they are not hearing. So there's a lot of punch in just a few words that while seeing, they are not seeing, and while hearing, they are not hearing. Okay? All right, so we'll take a break here, and we'll start with the first part of your translations in just a bit. Here is, what we have here is